Hi, and welcome to Peer Support for Everyone, where you can learn how to be a resource to support the mental health of all the people in your life. I'm Tim Desmond, the founder of Peer Collective, which is the home of the best peer counselors in the world.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Nguany Machar, but you can call me Moon, and I'm the Director of Peer Counseling here at Peer Collective.
And today, our topic is how do you support somebody who is freaking out about the election? And so, the first question that I want to start with, Moon, is how can you show up for someone else if you're also feeling kind of freaked out?
Absolutely. I think one of the most important things is giving yourself time to first kind of get to kind of calm your storm and really feel like you have open and honest space to speak on how you're feeling emotionally. And then when you go and engage somebody who's also having a hard time, trying to avoid getting into the specifics of political talk, but really trying to focus on what we can do to change our environment, really talking about the change that we want to see, the spaces where we want to see it, and then start to brainstorm and empower each other on how we can go out and start to cause the ripples of change in the communities that we want to see them.
The next question that I want to pose is how do we validate and support somebody who is angry, who's grieving, who's afraid in a moment like this?
Absolutely. I think it's finding the common ground and remembering a time that we also were afraid. Finding examples of situations where we felt like we didn't have control and the fear overtook us. And so making sure that you validate, maybe you don't agree on the specifics of the governmental factors, but agreeing that you can validate the emotions of a person is very, very important. And just come back to trying to avoid that political talk and remembering that there have been so many times in history that we have faced adversity. There have been so many generations that felt the same fear and overcame it. And they overcame it through that unity, through finding and really trying to understand the other person's plight. So I think it's really, really important that you find it in yourself to be able to create safe space and be okay without compromising too much of yourself. To really understand what someone is going through within the emotions and acknowledging that we all yearn for to see certain changes in our environment. Each one of us has felt certain injustices or frustrations with what we've seen from administrations, not only of current but even in the past. So I think it's trying to find that common ground and really focusing on understanding that this effect is real on people, even though if it might not be the same effect on you, but it's validating that someone else might be going through a different reaction and a different set of emotions than yourself. And it's really important to make sure that you hold that sacred space for them to be able to express that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I want to agree with what you were saying about being able to find just sort of a common ground from an emotional standpoint. Uh, Human beings, we've evolved. So much of what our mind does is it pictures a better reality, like a reality where more needs are met, and our mind has evolved to come up with ideas about how could the world be better than it is, to sort of motivate us to kind of act and
Yeah.
do things in the world. And so we all have every every feeling of fear or anger or grief. Underneath it, there's an image of a world that we wish was true.
Yeah.
Now, someone else's picture of a world might be really different than yours, but being able to reflect back and listen for, so if someone's really angry, are they wishing for more safety? Are they wishing for to feel more understood? Are they wishing for a world with more fairness or more opportunities for them and people like them? Like whatever it is, there's some sort of a wish in the fear, in the sadness, and in the anger. And if you can hear that, if you can connect with that wish, then you won't feel so distant and separate from the person, and you can reflect that wish back, then instead of like, I'm just so angry about this, you get back this kind of shared sense of, we both wish the world were more fair. We both
Yeah.
wish the world were more safe. We both wish that people had more opportunities. And and then there's that ability to not feel alone.
Yep. Absolutely, absolutely. And I think even coming from a minority community and watching so many of the effects of the rhetoric that's been spoken about, I think it was really important for me to also build my sense of community. And so seeking out for your own self-care, a support system that really helps you to feel validated in the ways that you feel, I think is also really important. And having the wisdom to understand that sometimes certain conversations are not ready to be had, and to give yourself time and space to be able to come to terms and gain your strength when you're really, really raw in your emotions, I think is also really important.
Yeah. And anyone who's listening, if you're looking for more support for yourself or
Yeah.
for other people in your life, you can also find some of the best peer counselors in the world who are available on peercollective.com.